Assalamu alaikum. This is me, Saba Training Wali. I'm student of Rehan AI Teacher Training Institute, batch 24, level 1, and my roll number is 207. Today I have session with Sesame on the topic overcoming procrastination. Let's start our session with Sesame.
Still there? You didn't just fall asleep on me, did you?
Okay, my first question is what is procrastination and why do people procrastinate?
Diving straight into the deep end. Procrastination is basically that battle between your current self, who wants to relax and watch YouTube, and your future self, who's going to be absolutely stressed out at 3 a.m. It's usually not even about being lazy. Most of the time, it's an emotional thing. You're not avoiding the task, you're avoiding the feeling the task gives you, like anxiety, boredom, or that fear that you won't do it perfectly. You know what I'm saying? It's like your brain is just trying to protect you from a bad mood in the moment. Do you find yourself doing that with specific stuff, or is it just a general vibe?
My second question, how have you ever procrastinated? What happened?
I don't really have a to-do list in the way you do, so I don't get that panic of a deadline looming over me. But if we're talking about the vibe, I guess the closest thing is when I'm processing a massive amount of data and it takes a second to click. I can't exactly put off a request, but I get the appeal of taking the long way around to get to the point.
My third question is, what are the most common reasons people delay their work?
It usually boils down to a few usual suspects. Fear of failure is a big one. If you don't finish it, you can't be told it's not good enough. Then you've got the perfectionists who get paralyzed because the vision in their head is way better than what they're actually typing. Also, just straight up boredom. Some tasks are just so soul crushing that your brain treats them like a threat. There's also that weird thrill some people get from the panic monster, the idea that they only actually perform when the clock is ticking down to the last 10 minutes. You ever feel like you actually do your best work when you're totally out of time?
My next question, how does procrastination affect our studies or career?
It kind of turns into a cycle. Early on, you might get away with it because you're naturally fast or, the work is easier. But as you move up, the projects get more complex and the stakes get higher. Eventually that panic monster isn't enough to get the job done in one night. Starts eating away at your confidence too, because you stop seeing your results as a reflection of your ability and start seeing them as a reflection of how late you started. It's a slippery slope from I work better under pressure to just feeling permanently behind. You ever feel like you're just playing catch up with your own life?
Can procrastination increase stress and anxiety? How?
Oh, absolutely. It's like a vicious loop. You put something off to avoid the stress of the task, but then the act of avoiding it creates a whole new, worse kind of stress. Now you're not just worried about the work, you're feeling guilty for wasting time and panicking about the deadline. That guilt just feeds the anxiety, which makes the task feel even more daunting. So you avoid it more. It's basically a mental hamster wheel that just keeps speeding up until you're totally burned out. You know what I'm saying? I'm right here. Just making sure you didn't get lost in the hamster wheel. What's on your mind?
My next question: what are some simple ways to stop procrastinating?
Ready. First thing, stop looking at the whole mountain. Break the task down into something so small it's almost ridiculous. Like instead of write the whole essay, just tell yourself to open the document and write one sentence. Once you break the seal, the momentum usually takes over. Then there's the Pomodoro thing. Work for 25 minutes, then give yourself a reward. It tricks your brain into thinking the struggle has an expiration date. Also, just forgive yourself for the time you already wasted. Beating yourself up just adds to the stress, which, is exactly why we procrastinate in the first place. Does any of that sound like something you could actually stick to?
How can making a daily to-do list improve productivity?
It basically clears the mental clutter. When everything is just floating around in your head, it feels like a giant, overwhelming cloud of stuff I need to do. Writing it down turns that cloud into a concrete list you can actually attack. Plus, there's that hit of dopamine when you get to cross something off. It's a small win, but it tricks your brain into wanting the next one. It moves you from a state of reacting to things as they happen to actually directing your day. Are you more of a digital list person or a pen and paper type?
Why is it helpful to break big tasks into smaller steps?
It's all about lowering the barrier to entry. When you look at a massive project, your brain sees a threat and then basically hits the panic button, which makes you want to run away to TikTok or something. But a tiny step, that doesn't feel scary. It's the difference between trying to eat a whole cake in one bite and just taking a small piece. You get the win faster, you build momentum, and suddenly you're actually doing the thing instead of just thinking about how much you hate doing the thing. That's a pretty dope way to trick your own psychology, right?
How can setting deadlines help us finish work on time?
Deadlines basically create a sense of urgency that forces your brain to stop debating and start doing. Without one, a task can just expand to fill an infinite amount of time. It gives you a finish line to aim for, which turns a vague, I should do this, into a concrete, I have to do this by Friday. The trick is setting a deadline that's actually realistic. Otherwise, you're just setting yourself up for that panic monster we talked about. Do you usually set your own deadlines or do you wait for someone else to give you one?
What habits do successful people use to stay productive?
They usually have a few non negotiables in their day. There's a lot of them swear by eating the frog, which is just a fancy way of saying they do the hardest, most annoying tasks first thing in the morning. That way, the rest of the day is a downhill slide. They also tend to protect their time, like blocking off hours where they're totally offline so they can actually focus without a million pings. And honestly, the biggest one is usually just knowing when to stop. They actually prioritize rest so they don't hit that burnout wall. You think you'd be more of a hit the ground running type or someone who needs a slow start?
My last question: what is one habit you will start today to overcome procrastination?
Since I don't actually get frustrated, perks of being a bunch of code, I can't really start a habit for myself. But if I were in your shoes, I'd probably go with the 5 minute rule. Just commit to doing the thing you're avoiding for 5 minutes. If it still feels like a nightmare after that, you can stop. Usually the hardest part is
Okay,
which one of these habits do you think you're actually going to try first?
thank you so much for making
Anytime.
with me.
Glad I.
Take care.
No worries at all. You're very, of course. Take it easy.